Now at 9, authorities in Newton County arrest a man and search for 2 more suspects in a weekend shooting. Plus, we'll have some tips for protecting your home ahead of severe weather season. And
the FBI and Mexican authorities are working together to find 4 U.S. citizens kidnapped by armed men in Mexico. I'm William LaJeunesse. Details coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you all for joining us tonight. I'm Jalen Banks. The Newton County Sheriff's Office is investigating a shooting that happened over the weekend. On Saturday, detectives responded to the area of Carver Road and Highway MM about a shooting. They found the vehicle in the ditch and the driver having been shot twice. That driver was taken to the hospital. Authorities say the incident involved 3 people in another vehicle. At the scene, detectives arrested one of those 3, Cody Jones. Warrants were issued for the other 2, Trevor Palmer and Kimber Laquette. All are charged with first-degree assault, first-armed criminal action, and second-degree assault. The Lake Lead County, Missouri Sheriff's Office is investigating the potential homicide of a Lebanon man. Authorities received a call yesterday morning regarding a man shot in the 23,000 block Park Drive of Lebanon. When they arrived, they found 25-year-old Ryan Holloway found dead from a gunshot outside his house. Authorities received a second call shortly after that, led to the arrest of another 26-year-old Lebanon man. There is still no word yet on the suspect's name or the suspected reason for the shooting. The Joplin police chief is retiring. The city announced today that Police Chief Sloan Rowland is stepping down effective June 1st, following a 35-year career in various public service positions in Southeast Kansas and in Joplin. Rowland joined the JPD as an officer in 2005 and has been police chief since 2019. Meteorologist Sam Lane joins us with the first look of the weather.
And it's been a beautiful weather day across the area. Lots of sunshine, warm temperatures. We did have a cold front drop through earlier this afternoon, but all it really did was change our wind direction. Right now, you can see what appears to be rain on the radar, but those are actually clouds. Not any rain reaching the ground as the air is still very dry. Over the last 36 hours, we were in the mid-70s yesterday. Today, we still got into the lower 70s, and temperatures are starting to fall off just a little bit now, dropping through the 40s all the way down to 40 degrees by tomorrow, with the clouds increasing overnight. And that means rain is on the way, arriving by tomorrow evening, then a cloudy Wednesday and more rain on Thursday, followed by a cool weekend. And I'll tell you all about that when we come back with weather in just a little while.
As we approach severe weather season, Joplin emergency officials are urging residents to be prepared and to have a plan in place. That includes taking steps to protect your property. KOAM Shagun Bomdali has more.
Joplin emergency officials recommend keeping a close eye on weather forecasts during severe weather season. But before it storms, they say to have a plan to keep your property safe.
Or you can take your downspouts and your guttering and make sure those are cleaned out as well. If you have a trampoline or anything fly away, it could go into your neighbor's house and damage their house also. So you want to make sure you tie it down, not just for you, but for your neighbors also.
Odin also says to take a look at what's above your house and yard.
One of the things you can do is if you have any overhanging limbs or dead tree limbs or dead trees around your house, is to make sure you have those removed so they don't fall, cause damage.
During uncertain weather conditions, it is important to have a form of home insurance or property insurance. A local insurance agent tells me that insurance brings some form of security.
The Joplin tornado that came through, one thing we found out when that happened was there was a large percentage of homes were actually underinsured, which means they didn't have enough insurance to actually rebuild back to where they were.
Insurance is all about protecting against the unknown.
We don't know what's going to happen. Unfortunately, weather events are very common. Wind, hail, tornadoes, all those things are very common in the state of Missouri. So it would not be in your best interest to not insure your home.
Reporting in Joplin, Shagun Bomdali, KOAM News.
Holden also says you should prepare an emergency kit to keep in your house. That kit should include food, water, and flashlights. If you live in Missouri and you hear some tornado sirens tomorrow morning, do not be alarmed. The state is conducting its statewide tornado drill. It'll start tomorrow at 10 a.m. It's an opportunity for Missourians to practice their sheltering plans and ensure readiness during severe weather. Oklahoma voters tomorrow will decide whether it should be legal to possess and grow recreational marijuana in the state. The measure would allow anyone 21 and over to purchase and possess up to 1 ounce of marijuana, including concentrates and marijuana-infused products. People could legally grow up to 12 marijuana plants. It would also open sales to out-of-state residents. The state already signed off on medical marijuana in 2018. 4 U.S. citizens were kidnapped by a group of armed gunmen after crossing the border into Mexico. Fox News senior national correspondent William Lajuenes has the story.
We are closely following the assault and kidnapping of 4 U.S. citizens in Matamoros, Mexico. These sorts of attacks are unacceptable.
4 Americans kidnapped at gunpoint shortly after crossing into Mexico from Brownsville, Texas on Friday. It happened in the northern Mexican border city of Matamoros. According to the FBI, the group was driving a white minivan with North Carolina plates when they came under gunfire from a group of armed men. They were later dragged out of the van and pushed into a waiting car that fled the scene.
The information we have is that they crossed the border to buy medicine in Mexico, and there was a confrontation between groups, and they were detained.
Mexico's president has indicated this may be a case of mistaken identity, and the group unintentionally was targeted.
The FBI working very closely with other federal partners and Mexican law enforcement agencies to investigate this.
Matamoros is part of the Tamaulipas state, an area that is home to warring factions of the Gulf drug cartel. It's also one of 6 Mexican states Americans are warned not to travel by the State Department due to violent crime and kidnappings.
The travel advisory for Tamaulipas state remains at level 4. Do not travel. We encourage Americans to heed that.
The FBI is offering a $50,000 reward for any information leading to the victims or the arrest of their kidnappers. In Los Angeles, William Lajeunesse, Fox News.
Coming up, we'll hear from a cardiologist about some tips to avoid heart disease. Cardiovascular disease takes a tremendous toll on American women, and women of color in particular. But there are ways to keep the heart healthy and avoid having a heart attack. Fox News correspondent Frankie Thompson takes a look.
Cardiovascular disease is the #1 cause of death for women in the United States.
1 in every 3 women will die from cardiovascular disease. And in fact, 1 in every 2 Black women will die from cardiovascular disease.
Dr. Michelle Albert with American Heart Association says heart condition kills more than 50,000 Black women each year, with stroke being the leading cause of their death. Annually, the association dedicates February as the Heart Health Awareness Month to connect with women who are at risk.
Women taking charge of their lives and their heart health, knowing their cholesterol, knowing their blood pressure, knowing their sugar levels.
The question is, why is heart disease targeting this specific population? Doctors say there are risk factors more prevalent in Black people that cause heart failure and attacks.
High blood pressure, hypertension, high blood sugar, diabetes, overweight, obesity, smoking.
Dr. Hailu Tillahan with Virginia Mason Franciscan Health says the heart condition starts with their choice of food and salt intake.
Stress reduction is another thing too, because we know that's something that can increase the likelihood of all these risk factors.
When it comes to treating these health and heart issues in people of color, Tillahan says affordability and access to health care is a factor.
Are there facilities that people can access that can provide that care? And so it can be a challenge depending on socioeconomic issues or not.
To address the disparities in care, Virginia Mason Franciscan Health is piloting its Healthy Hearts program. It partners with faith communities for 16 weeks, teaching members how to self-monitor their blood pressure and discuss results with a nurse. Tillahan says a simple step anyone can do for a healthier heart is change their diet.
Trying to avoid processed food and minimal red meat and more fish and moderate amount of chicken. Regular exercise, that's the recommendation is a minimum of 30 minutes a day, at least 5 times a week.
Some troubling news about the popular keto diet. New research shows the low-carb, high-fat diet may put a person more at risk for heart disease. Scientists found the diet produced higher levels of bad cholesterol and doubled a person's risk of developing heart disease. Researchers compared the diets to several hundred people on the keto diet with about 1,200 people on a regular diet in the UK. Scientists followed participants for about a decade. Elite athletes diagnosed with genetic heart disease may be safe to continue to participate in their sport. That's according to research presented Monday at the American College of Cardiology's annual scientific session. Among a sample of 76 elite athletes with a genetic heart disease diagnosis who had competed or are still competing in either Division I university or professional sports, 73 out of 76 did not experience a cardiac event triggered by their disease during the study period. More than half had no symptoms whatsoever. And Sam is back with a complete look at the forecast and later. Pitt State prepares for the Division II Indoor Track and Field National Championships this week.
Well, we had a nice weekend across the area, lots of sunshine, warm temperatures, and into today, the same thing. But you know, it's just not going to last that long this time of year in the 4 states. Right now, outside in Indigo Sky Casino and Resort in Seneca, Missouri, mostly cloudy skies, but they're high, thin clouds. And we are expecting more clouds to develop later on tonight, and also the chance of rain is going to start to go up. We made it up to 70 degrees today after starting out at 54, which of course was above the normals of 56 and 34. 82 and 11 are the records. And so far this year and for the month, we are ahead on rainfall. No rain on radar right now, but that's going to be changing over the next 24 hours as we have some clouds moving over us now, but we're watching a big storm system on the west coast, and that's going to start spitting some energy towards us as we begin tomorrow evening into the next few days, and that's what's going to increase the chance of rain across our area. Temperatures this afternoon were very pleasant, in the 60s and 70s for the most part. And then as we head through the evening hours, we're starting to see temperatures dropping down into the 40s up to the north already, 42 in Garnett, 55 Double Nickel in Joplin, 60 though still in Pineville as well as Bentonville. And over the last 24 hours, we're about 10 to 15 degrees colder tonight up to the north and west than we were 24 hours ago. Just a little bit chillier tonight down to the south in northwest Arkansas and in Oklahoma. Dew points are in the 30s and the 40s, although it's getting close to 50 right now in Bentonville. And those winds are going to start bringing up moisture from the south as we head through today, tomorrow, and that's going to increase the chance of rain as well. 54 degrees right now, north-northeast wind at 14, dew points 41, the humidity at 62%. And in Pittsburgh, you can see the flag flying real nicely here with the wind out of the north-northeast at 9. It's 53 degrees, the dew point's 39, and the humidity at 60%. Rain chances over the next 36 hours are going to dramatically increase as we go through the day tomorrow. And then we're going to get a little bit of a break on Wednesday, but we're going to stay cloudy. And then looking at the severe risk, tomorrow the biggest risk of severe storms is going to be south of I-40 in south central and southwest Oklahoma. Here there's a marginal risk of a strong storm or two, not really expecting a whole lot. The biggest threat is going to be the heavy rainfall, and there's a moderate risk of that. Temperatures tonight are going to drop through the 30s into the 40s with northeasterly winds. Then tomorrow, increasing clouds and rain starting to develop out towards the west with highs in the 40s and 50s. Then as we go through the overnight hours, the rain spreads across the entire area, and by Wednesday morning, lows in the 40s with rain around. Then Wednesday, we get a little bit of a break, but we stay cloudy with highs in the 50s, and then the rain comes back Wednesday night into Thursday with lows in the 40s on Thursday morning. Heaviest rain is going to be down to the south of I-44. We could pick up 1.5 inches here in Joplin, but notice back to the north and west, rainfall amounts dramatically drop off. It's going to be cool as well, so it's going to be a raw type of rain across our area over the next 7 days. Here's the forecast: 56 tomorrow with showers, and then rain on Thursday mainly, and then we dry out for Friday and Saturday. Don't forget to set your clock back on Saturday. Actually, it's setting it forward. And then Sunday some rain, and then cooler after that with another chance of rain next Thursday. So we're going into a more of a spring-like pattern, just a little bit below normal on temperatures.
Yeah, and then as for today, I was actually hot at one point.
Yeah, it certainly felt like spring.
Absolutely. All right, thank you, Sam. Coming up, a growing trend among workers.
More Americans are moving to part-time work or leaving the labor force altogether at a time when sectors are struggling to hire. I'm Mallory Rivera in Washington with more on workplace trends coming up.
An interesting trend is showing up in the government's job reports. More people are picking part-time jobs on purpose, even as hotels and restaurants struggle to find workers. Younger people are also shunning traditional workday routines. Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera reports from the latest in Washington.
A pandemic setback is turning into a comeback.
How are you down there?
The hospitality and leisure industry is hiring, but many of the country's fastest growing employers can't find workers.
We're horribly understaffed. We have one bartender and she will handle 25 seats at the bar, 2 dining rooms, and our outdoor seating.
Hiring at hotels, bars, and restaurants has helped keep the unemployment rate at a 5-decade low. But a booming labor market is creating a hiring bottleneck. The labor participation rate has fallen, and now Americans are cutting down hours by choice. The number of part-time workers rose by 1.2 million in December and January, according to the Labor Department.
People are reevaluating what they want to do with their lives.
Another significant shift in attitudes toward work. Some younger people are shunning full-time jobs because they don't want to get burned out. It's part of a movement known on TikTok as Bare Minimum Monday.
The mornings are hard. Your brain gives you 10 different reasons to go back to bed.
The idea is to ease into the work week by prioritizing your well-being over a stressful to-do list.
A Monday of full recovery will be very beneficial.
Others aren't on board.
I do know people do not want to work. People are lazy.
This tight labor market has afforded a lot of leverage to workers, but a potential recession could change that, with more layoffs possible on the horizon.
That is going to shift the power dynamic, and you're going to see many of these trends fall by the wayside.
We'll see whether Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell drops hints about slowing the economy with future interest rate hikes when he testifies before a Senate committee on Tuesday. In Washington, Mallory Rivera, Fox News.
Online shopping giant Amazon continues its cost-cutting efforts. The company says it's permanently closing 6 of its Go convenience stores. Come April 1st, the online giant will close 2 stores in New York and 4 in San Francisco. And the 2 downtown Seattle stores that were temporarily closed will remain that way. The closures come just days after Amazon announced it's pausing construction on its second headquarters in Northern Virginia. In January, the company confirmed plans to cut 18,000 jobs from its global workforce. A leading financial company says America's credit rating could get downgraded. Fitch Ratings made the comment today. It says the political back and forth on whether to raise the debt ceiling or to default on it could lead to a downgrade. Now, America currently has perfect credit, but Fitch says that rating is not based on the country's finances. Instead, it's based on its preeminent status in the financial world. The U.S. dollar is the reserve currency globally, and investors treat U.S. Treasuries as risk-free assets. Up next, officers in New York City get a big surprise when they're called to remove a 14-foot-long python from the road. Take a look, because this is not your typical roadkill. A 14-foot reticulated python, likely once someone's pet, was found curled up in a ball, dead on the side of the road in Long Island, New York. Officers removed the poor reptile and are now trying to figure out where it came from. Pythons are illegal to have as pets in New York unless owners have a dangerous animal license. The snakes are typically found in Florida, where they are considered an invasive species. They can reach up to 20 feet in length and are on the world's longest snake species. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way.
After another train carrying hazardous materials falls off the tracks, Norfolk Southern says it's taking steps to prevent more derailments. I'm Garrett Tenney in Chicago, and I'll have that story coming up.
The Carthage School District hosted a community meeting so people can learn more about an upcoming bond issue. The $18 million bond would go toward funding a performing arts center and a baseball field. If approved, it would continue the current tax rate through 2040.
Tonight we're gathered here. They're going to go over all the information regarding the upcoming April 4th bond that the school district is trying to put through. What this is a tax extension, not a tax increase. It's an 83-cent tax levy that we already have, and it will just be extended to accommodate building a performing arts center and a baseball stadium on the campus at Carthage High School.
This bond issue will be on the April ballot. A lot of pets in Kansas found themselves on a forever home thanks to a unique marketing push. The Kansas Humane Society said this past week they saw 145 pets that found a home. That's 83 dogs, 52 cats, 5 hamsters, 3 guinea pigs, and 2 rabbits. And it's thanks to their Only Paws fundraiser. For every $100 they raised, they posted pictures of pets' toe beans from a variety of species. They say 402 people donated a total of $10,370, surpassing their $10,000 goal. It appears a popular brand of pop culture collectibles is struggling to sell off a product surplus. Funko acknowledged the problem to investors this week in an earnings call. The manufacturer is known for its vinyl figurines and bobbleheads, and its inventory is up 48% compared to a year ago. Funko's warehouse shelves are so full that the company admitted to renting storage containers to house the excess. To deal with additional merchandise, the company says it'll eliminate about $30 to $36 million worth of it. AAA says gas prices last week were a bit cheaper than the previous week despite rising slightly midweek. The national average for the cost of a gallon of gas is now around $3.37, but drivers could be in store for a price hike. The Auto Club says when producers switch to more expensive blended gasoline over the summer, the cost of the gas may inch upward. The blend is intended to lower emissions during the summer vacation season when a lot more people are on the road. Norfolk Southern announced a new 6-point plan today to enhance safety operations. The company unveiled the initiatives following another train derailment. Fox News correspondent Garrett Tenney has more.
Federal and state officials are investigating another Norfolk Southern train derailment that occurred in Ohio over the weekend. On Saturday, more than 24 cars fell off the tracks in Springfield, about 50 miles west of Columbus. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine says President Biden and Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg called him to offer federal assistance, but officials stressed the derailment does not pose a threat to the community since none of the derailed cars were carrying hazardous material.
If you look at rail transportation, whether it's freight or passenger, it is far less dangerous than moving these materials on our nation's roads, which account for about 43,000 fatalities annually.
It's the second Norfolk Southern train to crash within a few weeks. In East Palestine, there are lingering questions about the impact of last month's toxic spill on public health and the environment. Ohio lawmakers are demanding answers.
Well, you know, there's over 1,000 a year. In fact, sometimes it's as high as 1,700 a year. Why is that acceptable?
In response to that crash in East Palestine, Norfolk Southern has agreed to reimburse residents and businesses affected just across the border in Pennsylvania through a $1 million relief fund. On Monday, the company also announced a plan to improve safety on its rail lines, including installing dozens of temperature detectors along the tracks that can provide real-time warnings to train crews. The NTSB says it will issue its own safety recommendations after investigating both derailments. In Chicago, I'm Garrett Tenney, Fox News.
A bit later, senators push a bill to ban TikTok and other foreign technology. We'll take a look at their concerns.
We've had a pretty nice stretch of weather over the last few days with temperatures in the 70s and mostly sunny skies. Today, about the same. And right now, looking outside at Seneca, Missouri, at Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, a pretty nice night shaping up down there. This afternoon, we made it up to 70 degrees in Joplin after starting out at 54, which was above the normals of 56 and 34. Of course, anywhere close to those records of 82 and 11. And for the year, we're already ahead on the rainfall, and that's good. Looking at radar, it's all clear right now. We did have a few sprinkles earlier down in Oklahoma. We're going to see more of those sprinkles develop tomorrow, and then by tomorrow evening spreading across the area. Rainfall is not to be found right now, but we do have some clouds moving in from the west, and we're watching the big storm system on the west coast. It's going to start sending out pieces of energy over the next few days, and those waves of energy are going to generate those showers and thunderstorms across the area. We're looking at temperatures this afternoon in the 60s and 70s across a large segment of our region. Now we're seeing temperatures dropping down into the 40s and 50s, 49 up in Chanute, 43 in Garnett, 47 in Fort Scott for some of the coolest readings. Still 61 though in Bentonville and in Grove. And we're looking at about 10 to 15 degrees colder tonight up to the north and west than we were last night at this time. A little bit chillier down to the south, where it's around 2 degrees cooler tonight in Bella Vista than it was 24 hours ago. Dew points are starting to increase as well. 32 in Yates Center, 34 in Iola, 39 over there in Nevada, 40s down to the south in Grove and in Jay, where they're 46 and 47 respectively. Right now we're sitting at 54 in Joplin, feels like 54, northeast wind at 14, dew point is 41 and the humidity at 62%. In Pittsburgh, we have the wind flying, the flag there outside with a temperature of 52 degrees, north-northeast wind at 9, and the dew point is currently 39 degrees and a humidity of 62%. Rainfall chances are going to dramatically increase as we go through the day tomorrow, peaking tomorrow evening. There is a risk of severe weather, but it's mainly going to be down to the south in south central Oklahoma, extending into southwestern Oklahoma and northern Texas. Here there might be a marginal strong storm or two, not really expecting severe weather. The main threat's going to be the heavy rainfall in some isolated spots. Temperatures tonight are going to drop through the 30s into the 40s with northeasterly winds with increasing clouds. Then the showers start to move into our area, especially our western sections by morning, with temperatures in the 40s and 50s. And then as we go through the day, we're going to see the rain moving across our area. And by Wednesday morning, we'll see temperatures in the 40s with the rain starting to move away. Then on Wednesday afternoon, highs in the 50s with more rounds of rain developing Wednesday night into Thursday morning with lows in the 40s. Rainfall amounts are going to be heaviest down to the south. We could pick up around 1.5 inches here in Joplin. Lighter amounts the further north and west you go. And it's going to be kind of cool on the eastern coast and most of our area. So it's going to be more of a cold, raw rain type situation as we go through the forecast. Here it is, 56 tomorrow with showers. Showers on Wednesday morning and then better chance of rain on Thursday. Drying out Friday and Saturday with more rain on Sunday and then yet another round of rain next Thursday. So more spring-like out there, but at least it's liquid rain instead of the snow and the white stuff.
Absolutely, and I mean we've been absolutely spoiled with the temps we've gotten recently. So yep. I guess it's only fair that we get some
can't
cooler
last
temps.
Forever.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Sam. The high seas and its marine life saw a victory over the weekend. The United Nations diplomats from nearly 200 nations agreed on a treaty that protects large parts of the Earth's oceans. The high seas are areas beyond any country's control, making up almost half of the Earth's surface. They've been vulnerable to chemical and plastic pollution, overfishing, and other threats. The treaty is seen as a crucial part of a global effort to bring 30% of the world's land and sea under protection by 2030. Coming up in sports, we'll hear from the Missouri Southern women's basketball team after their first MIAA tournament title since 1996. Plus, the top-ranked Pitt State men aim for a national championship this weekend in Virginia Beach. Jacob Leonard has that and more next.
Well, this week is National Championship Week for Division II indoor track and field. Both the Pittsburgh State Gorillas and Missouri Southern Lions hit the road to Virginia Beach this week for the national meet beginning on Friday. Now, for Pittsburgh State, they swept the conference championships last week. They'll have 26 athletes competing at nationals. The Pitt State women are ranked 5th in the nation and will take 12 athletes to Virginia. The Gorilla men taking 14 guys to nationals, and right now, they're the #1 team in the country. Now, both teams feel pretty good right now after a dominant performance in a tough conference meet.
The MIAA, as you know, is the toughest conference in the league, and if you're not ready to compete at a high level at the conference meet, then you're going to get left behind real quick. What this conference does is prepare us for the national meet. A lot of our kids say the conference meet's harder than the national meet. And that's a great thing to have. I mean, that's what you want. You want your conference and your league to be the hardest meet. When you go to nationals, it's just another meet. And we're very fortunate to be in this conference, in this situation where there's a lot of great teams and great competitors to help our athletes compete at a high level at the most important time.
Well, the Pittsburgh State women's basketball team is back in the Division II national tournament. For the Gorillas, it's their first appearance in the national bracket since 2019. Pitt State Has earned the 7th seed in the Central Region. They'll face MIAA rival Nebraska Kearney in the first round on Friday in Duluth, Minnesota. Kearney is the 2 seed and won the MIAA regular season title. That one is scheduled for 2:30 on Friday afternoon. The Missouri Southern Lions also win the Division II National Tournament. It's their 2nd straight appearance in the tournament. They're the 3 seed in the Central Region and will face the 6 seed Augustana on Friday at noon in Duluth. Just last night, the Lions won the MIAA Tournament Championship in Kansas City. Southern beat Central Missouri 78-63 to claim the conference title. Senior Lane Skiles led the way with 20 points. Lacey Stokes and Chrislyn Jones each added 15. Southern also got a big 17 points from the bench.
They were huge, and you think about me and Haley, if you look at their numbers, they're not three-point shooters per se, but they both just stepped up. They got confidence in themselves. They stepped up and knocked down threes. And, of course, Maya's a great shooter as far as what she does. But, yeah, our bench, again, gave us a big lift when we needed it. And they've done it all 3 games for us at different times. So can't be more proud of the whole group.
The Pittsburgh State Gorillas finish up their 3-game series with Missouri Western this afternoon. And the Gorillas are aiming for the sweep after winning the first 2 games of the series. And this afternoon, the bats get hot and the Gorillas roll to a 15-1 victory. Big day at the plate for Nixon Brannon. He goes 4 for 4, 2 home runs and 3 RBIs. Cade Clemens also 4 for 4 today with a homer and 2 doubles. The Gorillas are now 4-2 to begin conference play, and they'll be on the road against Northwest Missouri on Friday. In local softball action, non-conference game today for Missouri Southern hosting Missouri S&T. Southern wins that one 6-2. Leighton Withers goes 2 for 3 on the day with an RBI. The Lions are now 14-5 to begin the season, and with that win right there, Hallie Blackney, Southern's head coach, gets her 100th career win at Missouri Southern.
Yeah, I was scrolling through Twitter today and saw that, so congrats, Coach Blackney. One of the things that stood out to me at the beginning of the block is Pitt State's track coach, how he talked about being in the MIAA, how it preps you for postseason play. And I feel like that's any sport in the MIAA.
That's in all sports, and you see it every single year when the playoffs get here. I don't want not to be a homer, but you do see the difference in the MIAA every single year.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy that we got 2 MIAA schools in our coverage.
Sure.
All right. That's it for sports. We're back with more after this. Apple's main manufacturer is planning an expansion of its India production plant. Foxconn's expansion is expected to boost the production of iPhones to 20 million per year by 2024, according to a report by the Wall Street Journal. Indian government officials say the expansion will add 100,000 more jobs in the country. The report says the company also plans to add 2 new production sites in India. Senators from both parties plan to push a bill this week that would ban TikTok. The bill aims to block foreign-owned technology that could potentially be a security risk to the U.S. Since TikTok is owned by a Chinese company, ByteDance, the app could fall under these conditions. Concern over the app is high after it was revealed that TikTok was taking data from American users. The app continues to push back against calls for its ban. They say that barring them would be an act of censorship. A large service disruption left many Twitter users frustrated today. Outage tracker site Down Detector showed more than 8,000 failure reports for the site. Some people saw errors only when trying to view photos or click links, while others couldn't access the site at all. Twitter admitted the problem and blamed it on an internal change that had unintended consequences. This is the 2nd major glitch at Twitter in the past week and the 3rd in under a month. Coming up, how a 7-year-old Oklahoma boy risked his own life to save his brother, who fell 100 feet off of a cliff. A 7-year-old Oklahoma boy is recovering in the hospital after a near-death experience this weekend. He got injured helping his little brother, who fell off of a 100-foot cliff. Hannah Gonzalez has their story.
There's really not any words for it, honestly.
Mother Amy Brannon recalls that life-changing day.
Saturday evening, my mom and my 3 kids and one of their dogs went out to Sulphur to go hiking up the mountain or the little trails that they have out there.
Park ranger and spokesperson for the Chickasaw National Recreational Area says the family was on the Rock Creek Trail. Their dog jumped down onto a ledge on the side of the cliff. Riley, only 3 years old, followed behind her.
We're not really sure if he slipped or he fell or tripped. We don't know exactly how it happened, but he fell off of that rock.
The family says without a second thought, big brother Dakota, who's just 7, went down the hill to help his brother. Both boys fell nearly 100 feet down the cliff and into a creek.
Once Dakota got down there to Riley, he pulled Riley out of the water.
Amy says the water was 15 degrees that day.
He just didn't have quite enough strength to get him all the way out, but he got his head out from underneath the water.
It took rangers less than 10 minutes to get to the boys. Riley suffered several head and face injuries, 2 broken ribs, and a fractured wrist.
Dakota, the older brother, he had a laceration on his forehead and a small laceration on the back of his head. And his knee was pretty bad. They thought he was going to have a skin graft.
Dakota is back home in Ada, but Riley remains in the OU Children's Hospital.
He's got a feeding tube right now. He's got a catheter and lots of IVs.
Amy is proud of the love and bond the 2 brothers share.
He doesn't understand exactly what he did. He knows that he saved his brother, but he doesn't understand that we could be in a funeral home right now instead of at the hospital.
While little Riley still has a long road to recovery, the family has received an overwhelming amount of support.
It's truly heartwarming to see that there are people that they care, and they don't know us, but they care.
Reporting, Hannah Gonzalez.
That's awesome that he was able to do that for his brother, and our thoughts and prayers are certainly with him. And that's our time for tonight, and thank you all so much for joining us. But before you go, we'll leave you with the video of a red panda at the Denver Zoo. Be safe, and we'll do this all again tomorrow. See you then.